everyone, welcome back to my channel. For those of you that are new here, if you'd like to subscribe to my channel and like this video as I cook from my kitchen, I would greatly appreciate it. Tonight I do have some chicken that I'm going to be cooking for dinner, but alongside that I'm going to be making some potatoes with some herbs, some other vegetables, a little wine. So let me show you what I use. So for my potatoes, I'm going to be using some baby Yukon Gold. I'm going to leave them whole. I'm not going to peel them. However, if you are using a bigger potato, you might want to do that, as well as cut them into large chunks. I have a 1.5 onion, small, that I'm going to also be just chopping into big chunks, as well as some pepper, some red bell pepper that I need to use up, as well as some garlic cloves. These I'm just going to leave whole. I'm not going to crush them, not going to do anything to it. And I'm going to be adding some fresh basil, and I will be using some chicken stock as well as wine and my olive oil, salt, and pepper. So the idea here is going to be braising the potatoes in some liquid. They're not going to be drowning in the broth or wine, but I do want them to kind of steam in a shallow pan with some liquid as well as the vegetables so that they get nice and tender. And this is not going to be like a crispy potato dish, but it'll be more of a like creamy, velvety side dish, but not a mashed potato, because sometimes you don't want mashed potatoes. So, and it's another way to dress up the humble potato. So the other thing that I am going to be using is some tomato paste, and this is not something that I use very often. I do prefer fresh tomatoes or just regular canned tomatoes. Tomato paste is a very rare thing for me, but if I get it, I like to get the one with the tube, the cap, so that I can seal it, because I normally don't need that much, but I am going to use about maybe a tablespoon, 1 to 2 tablespoons of this. Now I know a lot of people use herbs such as thyme, oregano, or rosemary to add flavor to their potatoes. However, it is nice to switch it up a bit. So this is really good. I like it best with chicken, but I'm sure you can pair it with other types of protein, or if you just want to have it by itself for like a meatless dinner, by all means go ahead. For the onion, I'm going to slice them into wedges. So I'm leaving like a little bit of the root on, and then just slicing them into even wedges, and they'll go in the pot along with the potato and the peppers. So to a pan with some olive oil, I'm going to drop in my potatoes. And for now, I'm just going to season them with a bit of salt. And I'm just going to let this roll around, get coated in the olive oil, and let them hang out a little bit, because these are going to take the longest to cook. So I've gone ahead and covered the potatoes for a couple of minutes, like a few minutes, and now that that's kind of had a head start, I'm going to go ahead and dump in everything else. My pepper, onion, and garlic, and I'm going to hit this with a little salt as well. So I have some chicken thighs that I've seasoned simply with olive oil, salt, pepper, and a little bit of paprika, and it's going to go into the oven to cook, and then the last few minutes I'll just turn the broiler on to get the skin a little extra crisp. So to this, I'm going to add, I've added some ground black pepper. I'm now going to just kind of squeeze in a little bit of tomato paste and kind of get that worked down below into the oil, or what's left of the oil, and let this cook just for like a couple minutes. Once the tomato paste has had a chance to cook briefly, I'm going to deglaze the pan with white wine. I'm going to use Chardonnay because that's what I have. You can use what you'd like. If you don't want to use wine, you could just use the chicken broth. But I'm going to do about maybe a third of a cup, quarter to a third of a cup. And then just kind of, you know, maybe scrape the bottom just in case there is anything sticking. Once the wine has cooked off a little bit, I'm going to add my stock. And again, I'm just going to kind of eye it. I don't want this submerged, but I do want about half an inch of liquid in the pan, or a little bit less. I'm also going to add just a little bit of hot water, and this is just to, you know, the sauce is going to reduce, so I'm adding the water to kind of counteract any saltiness. And I have a nice handful of basil, so I'm not going to cut them, I'm going to leave them whole, but I'm just going to like kind of squeeze it slightly before putting it in the pan, just to kind of release the aroma. So I'm just going to go ahead and toss this in here, kind of spread them around and get them submerged into the liquid as well. And this will make everything smell really good. It'll taste really nice and fresh. This is simmering, so I'm going to go ahead and cover and let this cook until the potatoes are done. So this has been simmering for about, I don't know, maybe 8 minutes. I'm just going to check. They need a little more time, but so does the chicken, so this works. I'm just kind of going to move it a little bit. If you want to toss the onions and the peppers around, you can. And then I'm just going to put the lid on it some more until it's done. So I've turned off the heat, the potatoes are finished cooking, and I've added some more fresh basil, and I'm just going to add a drizzle of good olive oil and give this a toss. So the liquid has reduced quite a bit, as you can see here. And then the other thing, you'll know the potatoes are done that when you insert it with, I would pick a larger potato. If the knife goes through pretty easily and comes out, then you're ready. So here we have our braised potatoes with onion, pepper, and basil. And this is just some broiled chicken thighs. And this is going to be dinner tonight. I had to get out of the kitchen because it was a little too warm in there, but this is a really great way to switch it up when it comes to your side dishes. The liquid that you end up cooking the potatoes in reduces down and turns into almost a glaze, so especially if you drizzle in some olive oil, good olive oil at the end, it just creates this really lovely coating for the potatoes, and it's a nice change from maybe an expected roasted potato, which everyone knows and loves, and it's great, it's delicious. But if you're looking to like try something new, this would be a good one to try. And again, I served it with some broiled chicken, and that is my favorite way to have it. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video and this recipe. Please remember to like and subscribe to this channel, and I will see you all next time.